I'm just there. I'm like, I do MMA because I think it's fun, you know, like I think MMA is fun. I've done when I was doing jiu-jitsu, like I just did it because it was fun. And then like when I was doing jiu-jitsu, I was just doing it because I wanted to do MMA one day, but I would mostly just did jiu-jitsu because it was just fun. Yeah. And then like later on, it started getting more serious because I started competing against like more like of the top guys and like
in jiu-jitsu, right?
In jiu-jitsu, yeah. So then it just started like people just started to get like notice me more in jiu-jitsu. So then I was like, oh man, this pressure. Like I feel like I have to win, or I feel like that. But then I would always switch back to like, bro, just do this because you know you enjoy doing this, like
right.
And it's the same thing with like MMA. Like I just really enjoy fighting. Like I enjoy like trying to go out there and catch a highlight reel. Like that's always on my mind.
Is that like what you fight for pretty much? Like, you know, it's like the glory of like fucking, there's nothing, no feeling like it.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's just like getting sick highlight reels, you know, like I think like when I'm done with my stuff, you know, with whether it's jiu-jitsu or MMA, like I think you'll be able to, I'll have like a really long list of like cool highlights, you know?
And you already do. I mean, obviously part of the research that I was doing with it was for Instagram. That's the power of social media, right? Yeah. Like I'm scrolling through it. I'm like, oh, this guy, like I knew you were in Fury. I knew you know, all this about you before you even came in. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And you know, speaking of which, that's a great point because when you just said like, you know, you're fighting at top levels of jiu-jitsu, you also hung around the top level part of jiu-jitsu, right? Like the Tackett brothers, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of other people. So how did that even come about? Like, did you just walk into a gym and you met those guys? Or did you guys grow up together?
Yeah. So like back in the day, it was just when I started jiu-jitsu, like it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't even like very popular then. Like I was still like, my friends were like telling me like back home, they're like, what are you doing, bro? And I was like, oh, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. They're like, what's that? Like karate or something? I'm like, nah, bro, it's same, but not really. No, it's different. Yeah.
Same.
And then I was just doing it because I wanted to do MMA. And the only reason why I chose jiu-jitsu more, because I was like, oh, well, got a little bit of wrestling. Now let's just put some jiu-jitsu on it, and then I'll figure out the striking later and stuff. But, and also too, like at the time, like there was just more jiu-jitsu tournaments around where I was at. And then there was like barely any striking tournaments, or else I probably would have went down the striking path.
Like you'd be like Muay Thai or something?
Yeah. I just wanted to compete like a bunch and be active and just like get better. So I chose jiu-jitsu, and then a couple of years later, then I'm like blue belt, purple belt. It's getting more popular.
Did you start in the gi?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to do just mostly gi. Like I was doing like maybe no gi like once or twice a week.
Yeah, because no gi just recently, very recently just started getting popularized, right? Like in a few years. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I used to do, like I would go to tournaments and I'd do the gi and the no gi, and I would do the gi. And it was always just like, if I won, it was like just barely. And it was like everything I had, you know, but then I would go do the no-gi, fight the same guys, and then I would just like run through them. So I always enjoyed the no-gi more, but yeah, it wasn't as popular. But then when I got to like brown belt, it started getting more popular. And that's when like I really started digging in. And then that's when I also met like not the Tackett brothers. We were actually on a show. I was on a show. It was like a show that in Texas, like the Anna Invitational, they were doing them like back in the day.
Okay.
It was like a 10 planet thing. They're putting on like little super fight shows. And I was on there, and I went against this one kid, and he was like some wrestler dude. And it was like one of the nastiest like suplexes I've had. And
you mean like a German suplex? Like
like straight up. I sent him backwards, folded him like a chair.
Christ.
And then right after I rolled him over, jumped on his back, and choked him.
Yeah, was that like you guys went on the carpet, right? You guys ended up going on the carpet from the mats.
That was at an ACC trial.
Okay.
Yeah, this was like I was still a purple belt, like, so I did that, and then shortly after, my buddy William, he was on the card, and I think he was like 14 at the time. He was like a little green belt or something. And there was this black belt that was in town, and back then there wasn't like a ton of black belts. So like if you're a black belt, everybody knew you. And my buddy, he was always like telling me about this black belt, like, oh bro, yeah, he's so good, blah, blah, blah. And I've never really heard of him, but I was like, oh, I called him, and I was like, oh dude, my the guy you're talking about, he's fighting on this card too. I was like, cool. But I was like, but I think he's fighting like a 12-year-old or something. I don't know. Like he's fighting some kid. I don't know. But so then I'm like, I'm gonna stay and watch. So like before I like ended up leaving because I competed before them. And then I remember this guy pulls guard and then William just like jumps like a triangle on him in like 2 seconds and then like breaks just like submits him like super quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, I'm like, who's this kid? And then after that, we kind of like linked up and then we like were cross training for like just like a little bit. And then eventually I was like, he like ended up coming over and then we started training together.
And this was in Texas?
This was in Texas.
Okay, yeah.
So then that's when I started training with them, I was like, okay, well, like I want to do MMA because my professor, he was telling me like, oh, you got to wait till at least you're a purple belt if you want to do MMA. Because I wanted to do MMA like as a white belt, you know, but he was like, you should wait till you're a purple belt. So I was like, okay. But then when I started training with them, I was like, maybe I just keep training jiu-jitsu and focus on jiu-jitsu and like learn from these kids and keep training with them. And I think that'll help me a lot. And then I ended up doing that, but then jiu-jitsu started growing a lot at the same time. And then I just got stuck like in like the vortex of jiu-jitsu. And
yeah, I mean, it is fun as shit.
It's super fun.
Like fucking, it's just addicting. And like you said, with the no-gi, just the scrambles are fucking fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like, especially probably to your level, like, you know, that's very interesting because what do you think about that, by the way? Like your thoughts on now that you look back on it, do you think that you should, I mean, this is probably the obvious that you should have some, maybe a lot of experience in jiu-jitsu, but do you think you would have got into it earlier? Like now that you look back at it, it's kind of like, well, I could have probably made it as good as like a white belt because MMA and jiu-jitsu is different, right? Even though that jiu-jitsu is part of MMA. I know because there's a lot of professional fighters that are, you know, talking about blue belts, but they're just fucking animals. Like, what do you think about that now? Is it, I know you wouldn't go back because of where you are now, but do you think that you can just jump into like MMA and do pretty well for yourself, like without the experience of a lot of at least jiu-jitsu?
I think if you go into MMA, you know, I think you could just jump in for sure. You know, it's just it's a lot of work because you have to do, there's so many things you have to do. So it's like, if you want to just jump into MMA, I mean, you can, but it makes it, I think, a little bit easier if you have like a good solid background, like whether you're a really good striker, then, you know, you could just focus on the grappling and try to catch that up, or, you know, vice versa. If you're a grappler, you can then focus on the striking. But if you're just coming in, you know, just raw with not like a good background, I'd say it's hard. But it also depends how old you are. Like if you're like 10 years old and you're just doing MMA, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be you'll be a stud, you know,
right?
Eventually, because you'll just have so much years of playing with everything.
So, speaking of like specializations, right? I know you've been doing jiu-jitsu now. You've done all these competitions and stuff like that. But now, as of recent, you're just like knocking people out. Like what would you consider your thing is? Because I've seen the highlight reels of like your jiu-jitsu competitions and your past MMA competitions. And it's almost like a Justin Gaethje type where you're not even just like trying to wrestle up, like you're a high level like jiu-jitsu guy. Like Justin Gaethje is like a high level wrestler, but uses none of that, and you just like kind of go for the knockouts, you know, like you said, the highlight reel. What's your thought on that, man? What do you consider yourself as? Do you consider yourself like as a specialist, or do you prefer anything more than one or the other in actual competition? Yeah,
I mean, like, I think there's an easier route for me sometimes in fights where it's like, if I get it to the ground, I know I can like just take these guys back and choke them, you know? Some, you know, I mean, everyone's really tough, so it wouldn't be that easy, but it would be an easier path for me. But sometimes it's hard to get guys to the ground, you know, because most people don't, especially with me. I feel like when people fight me, it's like their whole camp is just getting up from the ground. They're like, all right, if Cody gets us down, we need to get up and close all the gaps, you know? So it's like, it almost, you know, like it makes me more tired just trying to like hold him down. But, you know, when I started MMA, like, I don't know, like in jiu-jitsu, like, yeah, my background is jiu-jitsu, but like, it was just I wasn't like winning all my matches, you know, I was losing. My record is probably more losses than I do have wins, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not like, yeah, my jiu-jitsu is background, but I don't know. Like when I started doing fighting or MMA, I was like, I didn't like look at myself as a grappler or like a jiu-jitsu guy. I just look at myself as like a fighter. So it's like, if we're on the feet, I'm going to throw and I'm going to see if like the takedown's there, I'm going to take the takedown. If you take me down and we go to the ground, then I'm going to fight you on the ground, you know? So like wherever the fight falls, like that's where I'm going to fight them, you know? And there's places, you know, I want to keep it or, like if I want to feel like my last fight on Contenders, like I felt like I could have taken the guy down in the second round and then maybe like subbed him or something.
What's going on, guys? If you're enjoying this podcast, please don't forget to like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Only if you're getting value out of it on YouTube and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a rating and follow. And also, I also write a blog newsletter from what I learned from my incredible guests that I have on. So sign up for the email list and get updates on the podcast.